Hello, co-founders. It's Hubert from Scalar Sales. Very nice having you listening. What I prepared for today is a 10-minute quick ride through how to establish your sales at the very beginning when you're trying to conquer the first customers for an MVP or for a POC. Sorry for not showing my face to you guys, and sorry for the noise in the background. I'm recording this from an airport. I couldn't do otherwise because I'm traveling recently before the borders close again. So what I prepared in 3 steps today is ICP selection and targeting. What's an ICP? Ideal customer profile for your activities, for your SaaS. Outbound lead generation. So how to generate leads on your own on a consistent basis. At least we'll cover the basics. And effective pitching. So together with Oh My God Krakow, we partner up. I'm Hubert. I'm the founder of Scalar Sales. Um, and yeah, wait, who am I? So in the presentation that I'm sure Pavel will share with you, you can add me right up. I'm Hubert Kucharski on LinkedIn. Um, I have over 10 years success and experience in international sales, 6 of which in SaaS. For 2 years now, I've been running my advisory to different startups in Europe and one in Australia. I'm an active and proactive member of US-based organizations such as Modern Sales Pros, Revenue Collective, and Rev Genius. Plus, I'm a member of Barcelona Tech City, a city that I love, a city in which I lived for 5 years. Most of the time on my professional career, I spent abroad, which is around decade, and I've sold successfully to FTSE 250 and Fortune 500 companies. Software ranging between 300 to $500,000 annual recurrent revenue. I'm quintilingual. I worked on pan-European or global accounts. I'm passionate about sales when it's data driven, and if there are innovative technologies involved, like yours. So let's jump right into it. Now, an ideal customer profile and the go-to-market strategy. I'm sure as co-founders, you've already given it a thought. You've already analyzed your potential customers. So what's the most important to start with? And again, today we're covering just the basics. So total addressable market. So to how many accounts, for how much value can I sell? And does it make sense for me to go into that particular market niche? Now, here's how you calculate the total addressable market. So it's the total number of accounts multiplied by an annual contract value. Of course, you may think of user acquisition, maybe freemium at the beginning, but in the end, you will want to monetize maybe on additional features, and maybe on premium content. And it's important for you to know the total addressable market, because within that total addressable market, you will see, okay, so the market cap of whom I'm targeting, it's, I don't know, 5 billion euros in Europe, for instance, right? So the number of accounts that I can target, it's maybe, I don't know, 50,000 accounts that, fall under my ideal customer profile. So people who are maybe willing to buy from me because I solve their problem. Now, what's the best go-to-market strategy once you single out the accounts you want to target? There are many approaches, and some of them can work simultaneously. Now, if you sell B2C and the user acquisition, the base of the users that you acquire, actually amplifies the value of your company, and you want to get as many users on board at the beginning as possible, then why not consider going B2B2C with a partner who already has a user base? maybe a system integrator in your field, or maybe a larger company or an SME that covers the segment that you target. At the beginning, I think it's beneficial. And of course, if you have the right framework agreement with that partner and you protect the copyright of your solution and you have mechanisms in place for that, B2B2C is the fastest way for your user acquisition. Now, what conditions the market I want to sell to? Uh, Again, this is probably the analysis that you've done, but market-specific opportunities like EU regulations, local government incentives, or specific countrywide incentives can help you get into the right momentum of those users using your app or buying via your app or paying for the usage of your app. Um, what's the pain of the company you try to sell to? And I'll get back to why the pain and the problem is so much more important than anything else. Of course, you need to figure out the pain of the company that you want to solve with your app. Of course, those will break down into two categories: implicit pains and explicit pains. So you will have prospects telling you, yeah, I have a problem. I don't know. Maybe supervising a database of medical doctors that I have in a private clinic, or I have a problem. I cannot find the right medical doctor online because I don't know how the scoring works. So you'll group those pains in two categories: implicit and explicit. And explicit is everything they tell you, and implicit is everything they don't, but they might have a problem with it. And here you can be a little bit assumptive, do a survey and call a couple of potential customers to exchange insights and to get those pains. And with those pains, you'll be able to be one step ahead when you speak with your prospects. Now, there are also two things. There's the pain, a company-wide pain, and each stakeholder within the company will have a pain. Yes, I put sex there to get your attention, because it's important. There is an ideal customer profile, so an ideal company that you want to target. But within that company, there are ideal stakeholders that form the decision-making unit that usually take the decision. It can be, I don't know, head of innovation, head of digital transformation, head of technology, head of marketing, a person that holds the budget, a person that influences the decision-making, a person that can introduce you to the right stakeholder, or maybe a board member of that company. So it's also important to have an idea of who the right people within the right company are that you want to prospect and target. Ideal customer profile, yeah, ICPs are always lazy. What does it mean? It means that you need to do all the work and figure out everything for them because they're lazy. They have all the stuff that is their present obligations, accountabilities, and you need to do every step for them. It's like, with a baby. You need to grab them by the hand and walk them through how your solution solves their problem. And we'll get back to that. Now, the second part is outbound lead generation 3.0. So I'm sure some of you are familiar with outbound, maybe in theory, maybe a little bit in practice. Now, outbound lead generation for the last 15 years, the inceptor of outbound lead generation was Aaron Ross, who built the whole outbound lead generation machine for Salesforce back in the day. It has evolved so many times that now we're at the level where we are already at 3.0. So what's outbound for you? How is it different from inbound? Now it's good to have a strategy in which you have a long-term strategy for inbound leads, right? Because in the end, all the activities that you do right now as a lean startup, they need to bring users, so user acquisition, or they need to bring revenue or attract investors for you to scale, right? So you need leads to convert those leads into customers. Now leads can be inbound. Leads can be outbound. These can be referrals, right? And then again, you know, referrals could work with a partner, so B2B2C. Now, for inbound, it's a long journey. It's a lot of contact, a lot of landing pages, a lot of marketing, and money put into online marketing. And it takes time. It takes maybe 2, 3 years to build it right. Whereas outbound, you can ramp up as quickly as 60 to 90 days to have already an initial pipeline, and in 6 months to have a robust pipeline of opportunities. Now, of course, you won't be closing all of them, and it's good to track the conversion rate on those opportunities, but at least you will have a healthy pipeline to work with, and you need traction at the moment. You need POCs, you need to enter new markets, you need to validate your MVP with a nice player, with a nice customer. So yes, inbound and outbound can work simultaneously, but there is a different time span for them to work properly and deliver the results. Um, Now you need to ask yourself a question: what's the goal of my prospecting? You know, how am I helping to solve a problem, a pain of that customer, of that company, and of that stakeholder? Right. That's how you will be able to land new POCs. Again, you know, getting a partner on board can be very beneficial, especially if you maybe want to get a partner in Germany. And then you want to sell directly in Poland, and then you can A/B test what works better. And having a local partner in Germany who speaks German, has the GmbH established, always helps, right? Where and how do I start saying and getting those green Benjamins in monthly revenue? Um, you need to go multi-channel. These days, emails don't work. Emails just don't work. Emails help you to nurture the prospect, get the prospect informed on who you are, how you can solve their problem. But in the end, you need to be calling them. You need to be writing WhatsApp messages or Viber messages, depending on the country. You need to be doing LinkedIn messaging. Either semi-automated or personalized, depending on the average deal size or the average ticket that you want to sell to that company. And it's important to measure your initial efforts in order to tweak, because you will see that sending 4 or 5 emails in between, giving a couple of calls, writing a message on LinkedIn, writing WhatsApp will work so much more better. You'll grab the attention. And the important thing, of course, at the very initial stage of outbound is to get the people to be interested and come to an online meeting where you can, you know, share your big pitch on how you can solve their problems. Now, what I mentioned to you, so multi-channel reach out messaging and calling, it's called cadencing, and it's really important to measure what works for you. A/B test what works and what doesn't, so that you can tweak it all the time, and it evolves all the time. Um, so how do you land more consistent pipeline? By consistent research on the accounts you want to target, and you know that they are your ideal customer profiles, and multi-channeling all of your communication. What should be my conversion rates at the different prospecting stages be? Yes, so it's important that after 2 or 3 months of outbound prospecting, you see that you have at least a 10% conversion, maybe 8 to 10% conversion of people coming to your meeting, having been contacted a couple of times, again, 4 to 5 times via email, in between trying to reach them on direct phones. And there are tools for that. There are tools to research those numbers and reach those people on their direct phones, at least in 50% of the time. And it's important for you to have that conversion, because then you can see that it makes sense. Then from the first digital meeting where you evangelize, where you show them how you can solve their problem, you can go into the next stage, filling in your pipeline, into negotiation, into technical conversations, etc. And from the first meeting, you need to have a conversion rate of at least 25% going down your pipeline. That's when you know that, okay, outbound makes sense for me. I've been doing it right. Yes, it is worth the time and the effort. Now, how do you achieve a predictive revenue pipeline? Again, it takes 60 to 90 days for you to be able to consistently ramp up a certain number of those online meetings per month. And it shouldn't be below 10 or 15, depending on your business, right? Now, what technologies should I use for reach out, and how do I structure it? So there are a lot of technologies, but what you need to do is definitely have a business intelligence tool. There are many online in order to research the lead very well. Research the person you reach out to on LinkedIn or otherwise. And you need to have a scraping tool that will allow you to get the email addresses and get the phone numbers of those people. And they're more likely to pick up these days in the pandemic if they're working from home. Um, from there, you can you need to use the CRM from the very get-go. All the information that all the emails that you write should be centralized in one piece of software, because this is just the start of building a pipeline that can last for years. And the first touches and contacts that you make in the following months may not render money at the beginning. Some of them will, because that's the idea, of course. But when you return to them in 6 months' time and another 6 months' time, then maybe they will render money for you, especially if they're ICPs. So never resign from ICPs. Keep the information centralized in CRM, Salesforce, pipeline, whatever is well connected with the other tools that you will be needing to maybe automatically call those people, right? Um, Now, how do you structure your pitch? And I'll be very interested to see. Um, Now, effective pitching, not bitching. I'm sure you found yourself in a lot of situations in which you receive a phone call, you don't know the person, and they immediately go into hard selling on you. I don't know. More bandwidth on the internet connection, additional channels on your TV box. I don't know, another SIM card. Yeah, that's bitching. That's bitching, and you immediately detest that person on the other side of the phone. And you're right, because they're not doing their job correctly. Now, effective pitching. Above all, it's research. It's research about the company, about the strategy of the company, and about the people. So the stakeholders that you contact, you need to take a look at their LinkedIn. You need to take a look at the programs they take part in. You need to take a look at their interests, and you need to align those with a potential problem that they can have. Now, why a problem is better than the goal of the prospect? And sorry, because I'm skipping through here. So, of course, people at different companies, they have their objectives to reach, and if you help to solve a problem that prevents them from reaching that objective, then they are more likely to buy from you, as easy as that. So that's why it's important to start with a problem, then put an example of an action, how your solution helped another company, and to which result. If you do not have the luxury of doing name dropping of companies with whom you've worked, because you're just starting up, problem, action, solution, and what was the result. So for instance, and again, some of you are in healthcare, so an example would be, what's the problem? Elderly people, they're still sick. They feel ill, and they're afraid of going physically to visit a medical doctor. So they're staying at home, and maybe they're booking a visit in which a medical doctor comes over to their place. Now, that's a problem. Okay, so what can you do about this problem? Well, I can actually offer telemedicine with advice from leading medical doctors online, prescription online, and the result is, yeah, as an elderly person, you're safe, you're still home, and you're well served by a very proficient medical doctor, and your health doesn't deteriorate. Just an example, off the top of my head. So it's important to structure a pitch. And now, there is there is the email pitch, there is the outbound call pitch, which shouldn't be longer than 30 seconds. But you need to grab their attention by the possible problem they have. You don't know what kind of a problem your users or your ICPs can have or not. Call them. Call 10 of them to exchange insights and to learn what the problem really is. And then you can be more assumptive about it, okay? And the problem is always better because they have their objectives of the company, as I was saying, and they need to solve those objectives. They need to solve the problems that they have on the table. The second best thing after a problem is a goal or a need that they need to reach within the company. But that's always the second best. Now, something that we already spoke about: company-wide problems versus each stakeholder problems. They will be implicit and explicit, and in time you will know more and more in your niche what the problems are. And when you do, and when you are assumptive about them, and I know it goes against everything you've heard thus far in sales training, asking questions, etc. No, you need to educate your customer. You need to evangelize your customers about how your solution helps them and to which results. And again, those people are really lazy. They don't want to read your email, unsolicited email, right? Unsolicited call. They want to listen to you. You need to grab their attention and you need to educate them. You need to show them another way. And again, you have your 30 seconds of glory or shame. And if you burn it the first time, of course, I've done it so many times before. What helped me, what helped my teams later on is recording the calls. And there is a lot of software that does this online. It's important that you record your calls and you dedicate maybe 4 hours a week to listen to those calls, note down the mistakes that you've made and how you would have said things differently, right? Another thing is actually drawing a table of possible objections from the prospect and possibly how you can handle each of those objections. But that's I guess later on. The first thing, grab attention and get them to that online meeting. Now, the bonus for today is homework that I've prepared. So I'm sure Pavel already asked of you, but it would be great if you could prepare your pitch, the pitch of your solution, following this scheme. So starting off with a problem, showing how your solution, so what action your solution you can take as a company, and to which result, and how this can help your potential customer, your prospect. Now, it would be also great if you could prepare, apart from a short 1 or 2 minute video, an email with a potential pitch. So, the first email that you send to a prospect before you will call them or follow up with another email. So, what's your best shot to grab their attention in the first email? If you could, I would also ask you to prepare a draft of your ICPs with relentless criteria. So, the accounts that you target and why you target them. So, what are the criteria that help you believe that it's going to be easy to sell to those accounts because we solve their problems. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you very much for your attention. Sorry I couldn't show myself, but again, I'm at an airport trying to hide myself from a lot of people and to record this for you. And let me look forward to our Q&A session on August 26th. In the meantime, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Again, in the presentation itself, I linked my LinkedIn URL. Yeah, again, looking forward to seeing you in the Zoom meeting on the 26th. Take care, guys. Bye bye.